Welcome to The Cynical Developer, the podcast that helps you to improve your development knowledge and career through explaining the latest and greatest in development technology and providing you with what you need to succeed as a developer. In this episode, we're going to talk about being productive. So, what is being productive? Is it writing code? Is it getting through all the tickets that are in your ticket tracker? Is it releasing on time? Well, the answer is it's all of those things and more, because being productive means different things to different people. So you really need to sort of work it out. You may feel you've had a great day if you got in 8 solid hours of coding, or maybe you completed a particularly tough task, or maybe you even helped out a colleague and you got through a few tasks with them, or you helped them when they were stuck. So as I say, it's something that you have to work out for yourself, and it may be pushed on you by the company that you work for as to what they see as productive. And what we're going to talk about covers some of the points and some of the things that I think will help with being productive. Now, those main 3 points are deep work, distractions, and your attitude. Now, being productive is something that's hard to measure. It really does depend on how you see the world or what your goals are. There are lots of tools out there, software and things like that, that claim to help you with being productive. But it's finding what works for you. And I'm not going to go into all the tools and things that are out there, but I'm going to talk about some techniques to help you with your productivity. So deep work, it's also known as deep focus or flow, and it's the ability to focus without distraction on the task or tasks at hand. It's a skill that will allow you to comprehend the complex information about the task and produce better results in less time. So deep focus will help you improve what you do and can be applied to other things, not just software writing. And flow is a little like having a superpower, I suppose. But it's a superpower that you've got to flex and train and control, and it does take time to master it. To get into a state of deep work can be hard, but this is how I like to do it. I've got 2 routes which work well for me. The first is the Pomodoro technique, or Pomodoro method, and we covered that in episode 17, Get Promoted, so I'm not going to cover it in detail here. So if you haven't listened to that episode, make a note of it, and make sure to go back and have a listen. But in short, I stick my headphones on, get some music on, which we'll talk about a little bit more later. I set the timer and away I go. I often miss out some of the breaks in between the Pomodoros. If my flow is just really pouring out, I just keep going. But I can only maintain that for about 2 hours. Any longer and everything starts to slow down. So I then do take a break, and boom, back in the flow after that break, and it's great. I normally use this method when I'm working in a noisy environment, so when I'm in the office, or if I'm working sort of out and about, if I'm not in the office. The other method that I like to use to get myself into a state of deep focus is when I'm working from home, is that I lock myself away in the home office. I shut the door. Sometimes I'll stick on my headphones, get the music going and dive in. And I just keep going until that piece of work or that task's done. It's a little less controlled than using the Pomodoro technique, as sometimes I can sit there for full 8 hours and not move, and I can crank out the code, and it's great. But other times it's hard to stick to, and I will get distracted by my phone and by email and Skype and Facebook and Twitter, and the list goes on, all those other different things there. Using the Pomodoro technique often means I have better time management as well. I know I'll finish my day job on time, but when I don't use it and the flow is left to just carry on, then I often work through my lunch breaks and way past normal finishing time for a normal day without even noticing. It's both good and bad. I did it last week and I ended up putting in 4 hours more for my working day than I intended to. Yeah, I got the task finished, and yes, I enjoyed it, but I didn't get paid any more for it. What I was doing wasn't really urgent, and it could have waited until the next day for completion. Will I get any extra praise for finishing the task the day before? Probably not. So why do it? It's something that you need to decide on the answer yourself. I can't say if it's good or bad thing for you, but it has both its good and bad merits. Now, a good book that I recently read on deep working is by Cal Newport, and it's called Deep Work: Rules for Focused Success in a Distracted World. And that's really good. It goes into some really deep detail about how you get into deep focus or deep work and different ways that different people do it. And it's not focused on software. It's actually mainly around writing books and things, but the same rules apply. Now, I checked this out and I listened to it on Audible. If you don't have an Audible account, if you go to cynicaldeveloper.com/Audible, you can sign up and you can get this book for free. Then through that, it'll give you a free credit to download it. It's definitely worth having. I listen to sort of 2 or 3 books every month on there, and it does help. So I mentioned music. How can music make you productive? Well, different types of music work in different ways. Depending on your mood, that really affects what music that I listen to while I'm working. I'll often listen to calm and relaxing music like Zen music or instrumental stuff when I'm working, just to block out the background noise. Now, Carl Franklin from .NET Rocks and Two Keto Dudes has produced a set of tracks that you can buy from his website, Music to Code By. And these have been scientifically crafted into 25-minute instrumentals, which ties in nicely with the Pomodoro technique, because each of your segments in that technique are 25 minutes. So every time a song finishes, you can just take your 5-minute break. You don't really need to use the timer if you don't want to. Other days, when I don't want to listen to the Zen music, I will listen to like rock or rap or metal and bounce around in my chair and while I mash out the code. I normally listen to these tracks when I need to work on something that isn't so complex. I don't need to use all the space in my head to think about what I'm working on as such, and I can sing along and look like an idiot. Thankfully, I normally do this at home, but occasionally I will do it in the office at work too. So as I say, it's a personal thing on what music that you can listen to and you get stuff done. Experiment with it. Try out different techniques. Try out different types of music and see what the effects are. And a lot of music streaming services out there that have got free trials and stuff on, like Spotify and a few things like that. I use Amazon Music mainly because it came with my Amazon Prime account. But I've now subscribed to the full music package. It's got a good selection on there, and it works for me. A lot of people that I work with do use Spotify and Deezer and a few others, and they're always sending me links to stuff that I can't use because I don't have an account with them. If you do want to have a look at Amazon Music, have a look at cynicaldeveloper.com/Amazon Music, and you get a 30-day trial with it if you don't already have it. Reducing distractions is a must for being productive at work. How often are you pulled away from what you should be working on because you heard someone in the office talking about something you've got an opinion on or something that you enjoy talking about? Are you often distracted by general noise in the office? If your office allows it, and yes, there are still a lot of offices out there that don't allow it, then put some headphones on. I know I keep saying it, but noise-cancelling headphones are a must for you. And then whack that Zen music on or that heavy metal or whatever you want to listen to. Get that in your ears, block out everything else that's going on around you, and you can get on and you can focus on what you need to work on. Now, I've talked about the noise of people being a distraction, but people in general are distracting as well. Have you or do you work with someone you really can't deal with? They talk crap all the time. And just knowing that they woke up fit and healthy this morning really puts a downer on your day. I've worked with people like that, and it's a major distraction. But learning to ignore them can help. So try stepping to one side and thinking, what is all this hate and anger doing apart from affecting me and my job? And the answer is nothing. It's not doing you any good, so stop fretting about it. And if they're truly awful at their job and as a person, they'll eventually come unstuck. So be the better person, ignore them, and concentrate on your goals. And at the end of the day, you're going to be happy for it as well, because we've all got our own problems to deal with. We don't need to worry about some idiot that we work with, do we really? Now, food. Food is a big distraction. Hunger. It's a massive, massive distraction. And it's hard to combat. I know that personally, I eat through boredom, or it's just something to do instead of working. But I know that when I'm working, I tend to snack more than when I'm not. At the weekends, I don't eat a great deal, but during the week, I tend to eat a lot more. I now eat what is known as a keto way of eating. I'm not going to go through it all here because I'm not going to preach to you about that sort of thing. That's not what this podcast is about. But it's based on low carb, under 20 grams a day, enough protein to maintain muscle mass and as much fat as I need for my calorie requirements. What I found is eating this way, not only have I lost a lot of weight and increased my fitness, is I found that I'm less hungry, less often as well. But for all you carb burners out there, making sure that you had a filling breakfast is a good start. And don't overdo it with the carbs at lunch. Otherwise, when you hit 2 p.m, you're going to smash into that wall. And that's it, you're done for the day. We've all been there. We know, you go out on lunch, you have a pasty and a pie and a sandwich and a bottle of Coke or some other soda or fizzy drink or whatever, and you hit that wall and you just can't be bothered. Everything just drains out of you. If you try and avoid that sort of stuff, then you're not going to hit that wall. Get plenty of fluids in, but drinking like tea and coffee, water, a little bit of fruit juice, that's okay. But stay away from the fizzy stuff that's really high in sugar, because it's just going to set you on that roller coaster of ups and downs, and you're going to find it really hard to concentrate. I briefly mentioned attitude with regards to other people. That idiot that sits 2 seats down from you, that his breathing just irritates you, and you go in and yeah, him. Yeah, we've all got one of them. Yeah, he hasn't had a shower for 6 weeks, and he can't iron his shirt. Anyway, I digress. But your own work ethic is a huge thing. It has a big effect on your ability to be productive as well. If you come into work every day with the I can't be bothered attitude, then you aren't going to get anything done. Now, I get laughed at a lot for what I'm about to say, but it puts it into perspective and it frames it quite nicely, at least for me, and it's about personas. So why would you want to be Eeyore? You're sad, depressed, unmotivated, just a pathetic person to be around. Why? Why would you want to be that person? You want to be Tigger. You want to be over-enthusiastic, in your face, get stuff done. You want to be that go-to person, the person that's waving the banner saying, yes, another day in work, I'm going to get this stuff done, and I'm going to be epic. And just that positive mindset does a huge amount for your productivity. It really does. And those of you that I've just completely alienated because you have no idea who Tigger and Eeyore are, then go and Google Bing Winnie the Pooh and have your life turned upside down and probably waste the next, I don't know how many weeks watching them on YouTube or somewhere like that. Get the books, read the books. It's good. It is good. It is all kids' stories, but I think it works well for the productivity stuff. Now, your attitude, no matter if it's positive or negative, it has a knock-on effect to those around you. So you being stubborn and depressed, it's going to make those around you not want to work with you. And when they have to, it's going to make them feel the same way as you. And that's no way for a team to be at all. So, be Tigger, not Eeyore. Now, I hope this has given you something to think about, and maybe it will improve your next day in work. Let me know if it helped, if it didn't. Let me know if you didn't agree. Come chat with me on Twitter or in the comments on the show notes from the website. Get in touch with me. I like to hear from the listeners. Come and tell me that you're not enjoying these monologues and that you wish I'd shut up and just get on with the interviews. I'm open to all types of feedback. I'm not going to get angry and stomp and shout at you. Just let me know. Make sure you subscribe as well to the podcast. Leave me a review. on iTunes or Stitcher or whatever. And in the next episode, we talk to Richard Allen about BDD, and it's going to be a good show, I think. But for now, thanks for listening to Cynical Developer. I'm James Stoddart, and this was Being Productive. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review on your favourite podcast platform and help the Cynical Developer to grow by increasing its audience. If you have any questions about this or any other episode, then drop us an email, a tweet, or leave a comment on the website, where you can find all the resource links and show notes for each episode.